Hello bookworms! Today I'm going to be doing volume 2 of The Bright Side, which is a monthly wrap-up where I talk about all of the movies and TV shows and anime and games that I watched or played this month, in addition to a couple of monthly favorites. So these are just things that have been bringing me joy during the month. So catching up here for February, and these are all of the things that I have to share. So we'll start off as usual with TV shows. So in February, Andrew and I watched all of season 5 of The Magicians, which is actually the final season of The Magicians TV show, which is really sad because I love the show so much and I do think that it ended very well, but I am sad to see it go because I so looked forward to it. The Magicians TV show is one of few shows that I would say is actually better than the book, better than the source material. I think that the characters that they created just worked so well, and while they do have similarities to some of the book characters, they just feel so much more real and more developed in the television show. Elliot and Margot are by far my favorite characters, and I basically just live for the banter between them. I would do anything for them, and they are like by far the best characters on the show. And fun fact, in the books, the character Margot is actually named Janet, but on the show and in the book, there's another very big character named Julia, and the show creators thought that it would be confusing to have two characters with J names, so they changed Janet's name to Margot, which I feel suits her just so much better. This is a series all about a very messed up group of friends and the crazy situations that they get themselves into, all involving magic. They met at a magical school called Brakebills back in season 1, and they moved on from there pretty quickly, but got very intertwined with the magical world, and they're always like in the center of everything that's going wrong. I particularly enjoyed this last season. I felt like it was a really fitting end to things, and I just have to highlight that my favorite episode by far is Oops, I Did It Again, which was just so innovative and clever and humorous, and I just loved it. Like, this episode was perfectly crafted. They take a lot of risks in Magicians, and they do a lot of things that you wouldn't traditionally see on TV, but they always manage to pull it off. And if you've watched this episode, you know what I'll mean when I say off or whales. Brilliant. I really enjoyed this, but really sad that the series is over. Moving on, we watched the first season of Pushing Daisies, which is something that is not new for me. I've watched this in the past and I really loved it. And I'm very excited to say that the show completely lives up to all of my nostalgic memories of it. I love the visuals, I love the pie hole, I love Ned, I love Chuck's wardrobe, I love the Darling Mermaid darlings. It's all just so good, so colorful, and so much fun. I've talked about it in a previous video, but Pushing Daisies is all about a pie maker named Ned who has a supernatural ability where he is able to bring someone back from the dead, but there are caveats that come along with that. So once he touches someone, if he doesn't touch them a second time and put them back the way that they're supposed to be, someone else in the vicinity will die. So that's obviously pretty stressful. And Ned runs and owns a pie shop called the Pie Hole, and he also works with a private investigator to help him solve murders. So basically the two of them go into morgues together, bring dead bodies back to life, ask them who killed them, and then try to solve the murder and collect the reward. But when his childhood best friend shows up as one of those victims, he can't bring himself to put her back the way that she's supposed to be, so she's just kind of around, and the two of them are in love with each other, and it's so cute. Their romance is so sweet, but it's like a tortured kind of romance because they're unfortunately not able to touch each other, otherwise Charlotte will end up dead. So her and Ned they have like a very strong emotional connection, and it's just beautiful. And then finally, I touched upon this one in my last Bright Side video, but WandaVision ended in February, so wow, what a series. In addition to how brilliantly these episodes were filmed and how they were modeled after television shows from the past, that in itself was like pure brilliance. But then the sense of community and the amount of fun that I had just theorizing with friends about what was really going on and how things were going to end was a blast. It was just so much fun to have like a new Marvel thing to discuss. Like, I feel like it was even more special than Marvel films in a way, because we constantly had something to look forward to every Friday, which really kept me going. And I think it did the same for other people, but it just led to like an ongoing conversation. I really like this format better than being able to like binge all of the episodes of a TV show at once. I think it's so much more exciting to have something to look forward to and to have everybody be up to the same point and have everyone like just have the time to like develop fully fleshed out theories and try to convince people of why they think what's going to happen is going to be what's going to happen. Yeah, it was just really fun. It was also funny because Andrew and I have watched all of the episodes of WandaVision at least twice. We watched them once by ourselves and then once with my family, and my family is very like casual Marvel fans, so it was also really fun to explain to them like everything that was going on, and they were like, if we didn't watch this with you, we would have no clue what was happening in the show. I don't necessarily feel like is the case. I think if you haven't seen any other Marvel things, you will pick up on what's going on, but you definitely won't have the kind of context that will make it such an enjoyable experience as someone who has seen everything in the cinematic universe. Wanda has always been one of my favorite Marvel characters, so like just second to Spider-Man has always been Scarlet Witch for me. I've read just about every single comic that she is featured in, so to see Wanda get her own series end with Vision and like just so many episodes dedicated to the two of them was like a dream come true for my younger self. I never imagined that we would get a Wanda television show. Like, wow. And then for it to pay homage to some of my favorite Nick at Night shows like Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie, it was just like next level, incredible viewing experience. And I'm so grateful that Disney Plus has taken a chance and done some very innovative things when it comes to Marvel shows. I'm also really excited for the next series that's going to be premiering, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and also the Loki series. I just think there's like so much to look forward to, and it's really nice that a franchise that has been going for so long is still able to capture the attention and hold the attention of so many fans. Like, they've just done everything so well. They really have the best people working on it, and it completely shows. And I'm also really hoping for a Young Avengers show now that Billy and Tommy have been introduced into the universe. Next up, we are going to be talking about all of the movies that I watched. So first I have the new Studio Ghibli movie, Earwig and the Witch. What was this movie? So first of all, it was super weird to see a Studio Ghibli film done in CGI animation. It was just unlike anything that they've done before, and not in a good way. Normally Studio Ghibli is known for like their beautiful visuals and just really fluid, really beautiful animation, and this was like the polar opposite of that. I also don't think that I've ever watched a CGI film with like in Japanese with English subtitles, so that was also strange to adjust to, but I obviously got there after a little bit. So I had been really excited for this one because it's based on a novel by Diane Wynne Jones, who wrote Howl's Moving Castle, which Studio Ghibli adapted, and that is one of my favorite Studio Ghibli films ever. So I had pretty high hopes for Earwig and the Witch, but unfortunately, no. In the beginning, I was like, okay, this is kind of cute. I don't really know what's happening yet, but let's just go with it. There's a pretty intriguing beginning to the story, and then you get a lot of just Earwig trying to like make people do what she wants them to do. And then you're like, oh, this thing is going to come back, and we're gonna get resolution on this thing. And then the movie just ends. And you're like, what? So it felt like the movie should have been at least another like 30 or 40 minutes, but then also like they should have scaled down the middle part a lot. It was just a very weird choice for where to end things. Like, I don't know who thought that was a good idea. I would say that it's sad that this likely won't receive a sequel because Studio Ghibli never does sequels at all. But I don't know that I would want to watch more of this. Like, I am curious what would happen next in the story, but I also don't think that I would like sit through another one of these movies. I don't seem to have an unpopular opinion on this. I looked up what other people were saying after I watched it because I didn't know if it was just me not liking it, but it seems like it has not really been very well received by anyone, so keep that in mind if you choose to watch it. Then I watched the Free Britney documentary on Hulu, and I really liked this, but it was really sad. So the beginning was like a lot of fun because it just gave me so much nostalgia for my childhood and that whole era of like when Britney Spears was first introduced and Christina Aguilera and NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, and it just made me like think about that whole craze and like those TRL days, and it was just so much fun back then, but it obviously takes a turn. It was pretty sad to see the progression of Britney's career because she is such a talented artist and she's so inspiring, but because of all of the trauma that she suffered, all of like the negative media attention and just the way that paparazzi would follow her and hound her and like overanalyze every single little element of her life, it just completely affected her until she had a little bit of a breakdown, which we all remember from the Britney shaved head umbrella days. After seeing how much she was hounded, doesn't seem too unreasonable. She does seem like she is in a better place mentally now. However, I'm very worried about this whole conservatorship that she is part of. So that was pretty much what the documentary mainly focused on, was that Britney was entered into this conservatorship when she was younger, and it doesn't make sense for someone of her age to be in something like this for such a long period of time. And it seemed like during the case when all of that was happening, Britney had said that the one person that she didn't want to be in charge, like she voluntarily entered into it, but she said that as long as her father wasn't going to be the one in charge, and he is, of course, the one in charge. There's a lot of like questions there about what's going on. People are very concerned about whether Britney is actually okay or what. And it paints a very interesting picture. And I really hope that Britney will be able to get out of this conservatorship and have the freedom to take control of her life again. It does seem like she is of sound mind to make decisions based on her Vegas stint and all of that. It was just very fascinating. It was a very fascinating look at everything Britney Spears. But yeah, I really hope that she will be able to find peace and just, be able to live her life the way that she wants to, hopefully soon, especially now that there's so much attention surrounding everything that's going on with her. And then the last movie that I watched is Always and Forever, Lara Jean. I had been so highly anticipating this movie. I love all of the To All the Boys movies, and I love this one so much as well. I watched this virtually with Alexa and Rachel, so we planned a day and all of us got like snacks and stuff at our own homes because obviously we can't get together, which is unfortunate. And we all pressed play at the exact same time and like texted each other our feelings throughout the entire movie, and it was so much fun. I really love the opening sequence and all of the scenes that were set in South Korea. I thought those were really heartwarming and just a really beautiful addition to the series. I think that the humor was really amped up in this film, which also made it very enjoyable. I think now that people are very familiar with Lara Jean and her group of friends, and I just love Chris. I think she's so funny. Like, she really got even better. I think every film she just like improved. In this one she had a bigger role, and I just think she did such a great job. Like, I truly enjoyed all of her scenes. But despite all of the humor, there were obviously some heart-wrenching situations that happened in here, and I cried so many times during this movie, which I was kind of expecting, but also not expecting to the extent that it happened. I also really loved all of the New York scenes. That had been one of the main things that I was really looking forward to since I love New York City so much, so it was just a blast to see all of them there. Though I was like rather concerned that these high school kids had so much freedom on a class trip to New York City. That seemed a little bit dangerous, but obviously I'll let that go. That was probably just for the sake of plot progression. They definitely did make some changes from the book to the movie, but I think that everything that they did worked really well. The timeline was really fitting, and just all of the like emotional punches hit perfectly. I'm going to miss this cast so much now that the trilogy has wrapped up. I'm definitely going to be watching all three of these like for years to come. This is by far my favorite rom-com series ever. Probably some of my favorite rom-coms just in general. And I'm very excited to see whatever Jenny Han is going to do next. The next category is anime. This is going to be a shorter category than last month because we only really got to watch a little bit of anime. So we started watching season 1 of Inuyasha, and I was shocked at how much I love it. This is one of those older anime. It's like a more classic one, and for some reason I just never saw it, even though it's completely something that I would love. I don't know how I went this long without seeing not a single episode. We're following Kagome, who is transported to like a feudal era in Japan, and she ends up meeting Inuyasha, that is like a half demon fox spirit guy. And there's this bead that Kagome has that like enhances demons, but after their first encounter, some things go a little bit awry. The bead breaks and splits into like a million pieces. And then Kagome and Inuyasha have to team up with each other and try to hunt down all of the pieces of this bead so that they can put it back together and make sure that there are no demons that are going to be like gaining power from it and running rampant. It's kind of like a basic anime premise, but the characters are so good, and every episode, all of the plots have been excellent. Like I feel like things move along pretty quickly, which is surprising because anime is usually very slow paced, and there are a lot of episodes where it feels like a lot happens, which again can be pretty unusual for anime. I was honestly just so surprised at how much that I loved it. After the first episode, I was like, oh my god, I love this. And Andrew was like, why are you so surprised? And I was like, because it's like one of those old anime that I assumed people really loved for nostalgic reasons, but it's like actually really good and really holds up. So yeah, loving Inuyasha. We're still watching it. We're still in season 1, but we are making progress. Then moving on to games. So the first game that I have to talk about is Hollow Knight. Andrew and I have been playing this on Nintendo Switch, and I love it so much. The aesthetic of it is just so beautiful. It's like very spooky and creepy, and in my opinion, super cute. A lot of the graphics too are just really beautiful. You play this guy, the Hollow Knight, and he is a little bug person, and the game almost entirely takes place underground, and you're trying to like help this village of bug people, and there are these little like caterpillars that you have to save from these bubbles, and they're so cute. And when you do, then there's like a big caterpillar that's very like thankful, and he gives you all of this money, and it's so nice. And there's like something creepy that's going on in this town that you are trying to solve. There's some cutscenes at the beginning that explain some of the lore that's going on. We haven't gotten to the end of the game yet, but we are definitely getting close. One of the characters that I really like is the map maker, but my favorite character so far is Hornet. She is one of the bosses that you have to fight, and she uses a little needle, and she's so cute. Honestly, the game is just so pretty. The one thing that like frustrates me a little bit is that there are so many different ways that you can go, and if you don't go one way, you have to remember to like go back and explore the other way that you didn't go. And it is also the kind of game where you will learn more abilities as you continue to play, so then you have to go back to the earlier areas in order to like unlock things that you couldn't have done before because you didn't have those abilities. There is a lot of like repetitiveness in the sense that you have to like go through certain areas a lot, and the enemies respawn really quickly. In the beginning, it's really tough, but you do, as I said, get more abilities, and it does get a little bit easier as you keep playing. But the bosses are actually pretty challenging, and I've kind of handed the controls over to Andrew now because it's gotten a little bit hard for me. But my favorite area is definitely the second level, which is like, well, I guess it's not a level, second area, which just looks like something straight out of the Fae, and it's beautiful. I know that they're making a second game of this, and I think that Hornet is going to be like a main character in it, so I'm very much looking forward to that. Andrew and I are probably going to actually play this as soon as I finish filming. Next game is Pokemon Go. This month they had the Kanto Tour event, which was so much fun. I was so looking forward to it, and I'm so glad that Andrew and I got to participate. It was definitely like the best event that they've ever held. I actually posted a vlog of Andrew and I playing for the majority of that event. It was one of like the last 2 videos that went up, so if you're interested in seeing more about it, that was that. But I got a shiny Psyduck, which was like my goal, and I'm so glad that I did. I ended up getting 17 shinies that day, which was really exciting. We were really tired by the end of it, but it was really fun, and I hope that they'll do the same thing for Johto. I really need to get a Heracross so that I can finish my Johto Pokedex, so that would be good. Pokemon Go, which I play all the time, so it's like not something that I'm going to talk about monthly, but I thought it was worth talking about the Kanto Tour event just because it was so good. And then Animal Crossing, obviously. I'm still working on my island redesign. Every time that I think that I'm done, I'm like, ooh, but what if I do this? And then they also just keep releasing such beautiful new things. Like in February, or was it March? No, it was early March. We got all of the Mario items which were added, and now we also got lots of Sanrio items added to the game too. So I've been slowly changing up the decor of my island as I ordered those items. Probably the most notable thing to happen on my island this month is that I got both Chrissy and Francine to move in, and they were two of my dreamies, so I'm really glad to have them. And then moving on to monthly favorites. So first, speaking of Animal Crossing, I got an Animal Crossing Eat-A-Bag and I love it. It's so cute. It has the leaf design. And then I'm obviously not done yet with putting all of the pins in. I need to get more pins so that I can fill up this empty space over here, but I'm like pretty close to being done. When I started putting this together, I realized that the majority of enamel pins that I have from Animal Crossing are all of Celeste. I love Celeste. So I had to like get some new ones so that I could have some variety. But I have some of my favorite villagers. So I have Sherb, who I visited over 200 islands to find. Yeah. Marshall, who I love, Meringue, Tangy, who I have not actually invited to my island yet, but I think I do want to try to get her soon. Meringue again, Marshall again, Dom, who I just think is really cute. He's never lived on my island, but I do like him. Reese and Cyrus, Marina, who used to live on my island but does not live there anymore because I just had too many normal personalities. Muffy, who is like this little gothic ram that I like a lot. Brewster, who I hope will eventually come back into this game. And yeah, so this just makes me very happy. And then I could not find a good pin of Chrissy and Francine, which is so sad, but I did find this really cute keychain. So I decided to like clip it onto the zipper so that I have them on here, even though they're not like in a pin. I'm still searching. That's like kind of why I'm keeping this blank space, because I'm like, maybe I'll find a good Chrissy or Francine pin that I can add. So fingers crossed there. Or maybe some of the new Sanrio ones, now that those have been released, if I can get an Atoll pin, I would do that. Next is actually the shirt that I wore in that vlog that I did of the Pokemon Go Kanto tour, but I got this shirt from the YouTuber Zoe Two Dots and I love it. It is two of my favorite colors and it has Japanese characters, so it actually says good egg, which is what you hope for when you're hatching eggs in Pokemon Go. But I just love the color scheme and I thought it was so cute and it's really comfy. And it definitely brought me luck that day. So definitely a monthly favorite. I've been wearing this a lot. And then another item of clothing is actually the dress that I'm currently wearing. This is from Black Milk Clothing and I've got Princess Peach up there. They did a Mario collection back in, I was gonna say back in March. Was it in March? No, it was earlier. They released this a lot earlier, but I was very excited when this collection came out. But I didn't like super love anything, so I ended up not getting anything. And then this actually went on sale, and I was like, you know what? I did think that was kind of cute, but now that it's on sale, I will buy it. So I did, and I'm glad that I did because it's really comfortable and I do really like it, and I think it'll be fun to wear in like future Nintendo videos that I do. Next is a food. So for Valentine's Day, I ordered these really cute heart cookies from Goldbelly. They're rainbow cookies, which are some of my favorite kinds of cookies ever. I think that they're more of like a New York thing. I think every time that I talk about them, people are like, what's that? But they're really good. Are like an Italian cookie, and there's pink, yellow, and green layers, which is like kind of supposed to look like an Italian flag. But they're just so delicious. They're made with almond paste or marzipan, and I just love that flavor. So they're so good. So I saw these online and they were heart-shaped and I was like, we've got to try those. So we did, and they were really good. The next thing that I have to show you is a statue that I'm really excited that I finally got. It is this pink Pokemon statue, so it features lots of the pink psychic Pokemon and fairy Pokemon, and I just love it. I think it's adorable. But I've ordered like quite a bit of anime statues, and everything just like keeps getting delayed and delayed, which is pretty normal for anime statues, but was like exacerbated in this past year. This was one that I pre-ordered and arrived, and I really like it. So it has Mewtwo, Jigglypuff, Slowpoke, Clefairy, Mew, and Igglybuff. I just think that that's super cute. And then also Pokemon, I got this very adorable Yamper plush. He is very big and very cute and very cuddly. He was one of the new Pokemon that was introduced in Pokemon Sword and Shield. He's like an electric little corgi, and he just always looks so happy, and his butt is like a little heart. He's precious. I love him. I'm so glad. He's such a good addition to our Pokemon plush family. Every time that we get a Pokemon box, Andrew's like, oh no, what did you get now? Then we haven't opened it yet, but we did get the Cat Peach amiibo, which I was so excited for when it was announced. We also got the Mario one too, but obviously I like the Peach one. Andrew and I have been collecting amiibos since they were first announced. Like, we used to go hunting for them in our early days of dating. Like, we would get up early and like go and look for amiibos together. Now they're much more accessible, so that tradition hasn't continued in that sense, but we do still order the majority of the new ones that come out, and one day we are going to have a beautiful gaming room and we're going to display all of them. Then I was really excited because ColourPop did a restock on the child palette. So this one is a little baby Yoda. He's so cute. 100% a sucker for the packaging. I will pretty much order anything that is just cute, though I have been using more eyeshadow. I'm trying to remember if I've even used any of the ones in here yet. These are all of the colors that came in here, and then this says cutest in the galaxy, which I totally agree with. Probably going to use this gold color. Most of all, the other ones are like a little bit darker than I would normally go. I tend to like bright colors, but I just couldn't resist. This was adorable. And then lastly, I got the cutest mushroom garland ever. It's like little pastel mushrooms, and I love this time of year because Easter decorations come out, and I tend to love Easter decorations as like year-round decorations. I love pastels, I love bunnies, so pretty much everything appeals to me, but I think my best find this season is this mushroom garland. It's definitely going to be like year-round. It's a great spring decoration. I just think it's so pretty, and it just reminds me of like a little fairy garden, and I love it. It brings me joy. But yeah, so those are all of my favorites for the month. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have watched or played anything that I mentioned, or let me know any of your feelings on some of my favorite things or what some of your favorite things are. This is only the second time that I'm ever filming this video, but I think that this is actually my favorite video to film monthly, so I kind of look forward to doing this one. So I hope that you guys are enjoying it. That's all that I have for this video, and I will see you guys soon in a new one. Bye!